Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are here for Bras, Panties, and Sports. We are the First Lady of Sports Talk, the one and only Cheryl Smith. Goddess Kelli, the Diva of Sports Debate. You know me, I'm spit-faced, and I'm always spitting it. Check out the music this week on Shout Out. We are featuring performances from Freeky. Will he find his shining star or get the cold feel of the mute button? That button be cold, it be chilly. First Lady, we're ready. What you saying?
Each week we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdie known as Jameson Winston says he is flying far away from the council of the NFLPA and accepting a 3-game suspension. Jameson will have to forfeit $124,000 for taking the suspension this year. If he ran the usual NFLPA tactic of fight all the way and get the usual outcome in 2019, he would lose $3.7 million. Are the players starting to get hit that the only thing that NFLPA does is spend their union dues on fruitless lawsuits that delay the inevitable because of their poor negotiating, simply costing the players more money? Did Jameis realize sometimes better to follow ancient Chinese proverb? A wise man adapts himself to circumstances as water shapes itself to the vessel that contains it. Kathy Lanier, Jane Castor, Jerry Williams, and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Well, let me just put it this way. The Jameis Winston may run far away from the NFLPA's lawyers, but he needs to seek the NFLPA's psychiatrist to help him with his alleged sexual deviance. That's what I think, to be honest with you. He has a problem. He definitely has a problem. I mean, we gave this man a slight pass on the sexual incident at Florida State. Now you have another issue with groping and Uber driver, or allegedly, I guess we should say. But I don't think it's alleged because that's why he's being suspended for 3 games. I mean, to grab someone's crotch while sitting in a car out of the clear blue skies, that's a mental problem. Jameson's got off easy by taking a 3-game suspension, and according to the CBA, he was supposed to receive 6 games. So the NFL is making these side deals with players to reduce the suspension if they do not pursue an appeal. Yes, this makes the NFLPA look useless for the players, but it was the players and the NFLPA that gave the commissioner all the power. I don't blame Jameson for taking a reduced suspension, but the NFL office should be called out for allowing this negotiation. After all these issues the league has had with domestic violence and sexual assault, to allow a player to circumvent the punishment shows that the NFL is not being serious about domestic violence and sexual assault. This league cares about their bottom line only. Shame on the NFL for being cowards. And they should make these players accountable for what they do, and they should do the 6 games at no cost, and they should not allow them to bend the rules. And one thing you need to do, Jameis, is get some help. Please seek psychiatric help as soon as possible. I mean, this is getting to the point that it's just unbearable. Goddess Kelli, what's your opinion about this situation?
Well, I mean, you gave an ancient Chinese proverb. I would like to give another ancient Chinese proverb, and this one says, man who steals crab legs should not stick his fingers in a fishy place. And that's going out to you, Jameis Winston. And like you said, this guy has had so many different issues in his past. It's gotten to the point where enough already. I mean, he is denying that the incident with the Uber driver has happened, but does anybody really believe him? I mean, he's like the guy who cried wolf at this point. We've got the issues that happened back when he was in college, both with the sexual assault allegations, the crab leg theft. We had the issue when he was speaking in a public school the other day the other year, where he was pretty much completely dismissed all of the women in the crowd, where he was speaking just to the men, saying only, men can grow up to be big and strong. And now we've got this issue with groping a female Uber driver. He has proven time and time again that he does not think of women as people. He thinks of them as just objects, just there. And that is not the kind of attitude that needs to be shown in the public spotlight. You know what? I was behind him as a player. I thought that he was the more talented quarterback in that draft. I liked him better than Marcus Mariota as a player. But as a person, all he's doing is kicking himself in the foot with this continued activity. I don't know if he thinks he's above the law, but you know what? Listen to me. Listen to you. We're talking about him like we already know he's guilty because of his checkered past. It's like the boy who cried wolf. He can't stand up and say, oh, it wasn't me. She was confused. It was another guy that was in the car at the time. I wasn't the one sitting next to the Uber driver. That's the kind of shit that he's trying to say about this, that it wasn't him. But everyone is going to consider that he's guilty because of all of the different things that he's done. So, as you said, it is allegedly at this point, but there's no doubt in my mind that, you know what, he does things questionable on almost a daily basis, and this time he just happened to get caught with it, allegedly. So, I mean, you know what, sit your ass down, because you're going to be suspended no matter what. When it comes to the NFLPA, I mean, I don't think that they should try and appeal this sort of thing at this point. Yes, it is their job to defend the players, but when it's a clear case cut of he said, she said, whose word are they going to take? Are they going to take Jameis's word for it, or are they going to take the Uber driver's word for it? You know what? I am team Uber driver on this one. And there's a lot of times when there's been stuff that's happened between players and women where I think to myself, you know what? This woman's just looking for a payday. Not in this case. In my mind, guilty, guilty, guilty. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, the main thing is she really actually never reported it to the police. It just so happened somehow a blog got a hold of the story, and then that's when they went and approached her, and then she gave her story that way. And but obviously there's some truth to the story because, like I said, he's being suspended for 3 games. Spitface, talk to me about this situation.
You know what? There are just a couple of different sides of the situation. Now, a famous lawyer once said, "If the glove do fit, you gotta convict." And in this case, you know, NFL. Hey, I'm in Houston. You got a problem. You got a problem, NFL. And NFLPA, you got a problem too. Because you got these young boys. No, let me rephrase that, because we would be able to give some leniency. You have these young men who ain't got out of a bad boyhood mentality. And why I say that is Zeke. You know, Zeke can't keep his fingers off of women's nipples, without, especially women who haven't given him permission. He just seemed that his hands just keep gravitating that way. I don't know if he was deprived as a child or, maybe mama didn't let him suckle enough or whatever. And, but no offense to mothers out there. No offense to Zeke's mama, but you gotta look at your son. What's up with him? What's up? And then you're looking at, here's Jameis. And I'm going to tell y'all, the worst thing that happened to Jameis was being drafted by Tampa Bay. Because First Lady is right. He think he above the law. Because where he at home. Where he been getting away, folks done. Now, I put it like this. I got folks from small towns. And they be proud of their football team, their basketball team. Because you might have that one school for the whole county. So they proud of that, what they doing. And when quote, star players do stuff they shouldn't do, well, let's just say they may get a break or two or three or four or 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or, next thing you know, they got crab legs and fingers in some places it shouldn't be. So, NFL, you got a problem, and part of the problem is these some talented folks. But, time, as they say, time gonna change. Now, the other thing is that, yes, the NFLPA, their duty is to defend their players, but I think also their duty is to give them the best advice. Sometimes the best advice is cut a deal. And they did not do that for Zeke. They didn't do it for Tom Brady. And I hate to put Tom Brady and Zeke in the same category, but, hey, the results ended up, you the golden boy of the league and you can't catch a break. So, other than spend a bunch of the NFLPA's money, which means the union dues, and to get the same results. So it's like, hey, NFLPA, when you going to wake up and say, hey, look, dog, this is going to cost you a bunch of money to battle this. And you going to lose. You going to lose. Because we ain't talking about Donald Trump. We talking about the commissioner. he know what, even when he messing up, he still do better than Trump. So, hey, and he got the power. The only person you got to worry about more than the commissioner is Vladi. And I ain't talking about Vladi Diva either. You know it's Vladi I'm talking about. But I hope the players are waking up that unless it is a matter of principle, in other words, you actually are innocent, take the penalty. Take whatever and walk on by and be real quiet, tippy-toe like. That's all I'm saying. Zeke, Jamie, can't keep y'all hands off women's.
Well, I just think the NFL, they need to let us know why they made a deal with Jameis Winston. That's all I need to know. They need to be very transparent about that situation. All right, Goddess Kelly, over to you.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my tears and putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion overpowering over the competition. I'm towering, wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare. You better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest. That'll all get sliced and diced. Competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out. We are not talking about Erica Shields, Janet Napolitano, or Stacia Hilton. We are talking about the knockout punch ex-cheerleaders from the Houston Texans are trying to land after a sixth former cheerleader is suing the team for being repeatedly body shamed and being duct taped by a coach. Houston, we have a problem. Angelina Rosa said that one day before the cheerleaders went out on the field to perform, her coach told her to stay behind in the locker room and threatened to cut her from the team. Before I knew it, Texans logo duct tape was found, and I heard, "This will hurt a bit," as I watched my skin being pulled, stretched, and taped, she said. Feeling humiliated and ashamed of my own body, Rosa then went out to dance with her teammates. Her skin became sweaty and irritated underneath the tape. Is this simply a misunderstanding and the coaches are really trying to simply make her look fabulous? Is this starting to sound a little like the Bill Cosby case? Trickle, trickle, then flood. Given Bob McNair's penchant for putting silver foot in mouth, can anyone from the organization other than J.J. Watt say something without looking like a racist and angry toward women? Michelle Lionheart and Julia Pearson are asking, what you saying? Now, this might sound like a contrary opinion coming from me on a show that is about empowering women. when it comes to being a professional cheerleader in the NFL, it's no secret what it's all about. We know that these women are completely underpaid. We know that they're objectified by men, by the fans, by some of the other people in the organization. We know that it's a lot of hard work for very little glory. But yet women flock to want to do it every single year because it gives them that chance for that 15 minutes of fame. They get to look beautiful. They get to be in the calendars. They get to sign autographs, the whole 9 yards. But they know that it is a industry that is very much dependent upon their looks and having a certain style. Most cheerleading squads have rules about how they're allowed to wear their hair, in terms of having a tan, that sort of thing, their weight. It's something that you know going into this job if you choose it. It's not a profession. It's a job that you're going to have for a few years because it's going to give you that little bit of fame and recognition, and then you're going to move on to whatever career you have. So I don't think that these women that are trying to sue at this point for being body shamed, I don't think that they have a leg to stand on. When it comes to professional sports, women and men, we want equality. We do. Do you think that the NFL players, that the men that are playing, do you think that they're not getting body shamed in their locker room? If they start to put on a little weight or if their muscles start to, not have the same kind of definition, do you think that their coaches are letting that slide? Absolutely not. This is something that is a requirement for the job, and if you don't meet the requirement for the job, then you need to shut up and find another job. You don't need to complain about having your body taped. They're doing that because this is a business that is trying to put forth a certain image. If you don't match that image, then it's not the business for you. Is it bad for the way women are? Maybe. Maybe it is. I'm not saying that it's not. I mean, women should be more than just looks and that sort of thing, but cheerleaders, in my mind, that is all that they're good for. They're good for looking pretty in those skimpy little outfits, and women want to do it because it gives them that fame. So if you buy into that culture and want to be a part of that, then you need to assimilate and look at the way that they want you to do. It's the same thing as a Hooters waitress. Nobody wants to see a fat Hooters waitress, and nobody wants to see a fat cheerleader. So shut up. You chose to do the job. That's what I'm saying. First Lady, what are you saying?
Goddess Kelly. Woo, nobody wants to see a fat Hooter waitress. And you're right. You don't see any fat Hooter waitress. That's the truth. But but again, I've never been a cheerleader, and I understand what you're saying, Goddess Kelly. There is a culture that, cheerleaders are there to look good, and you do have to have the body to be a cheerleader. However, I still think the cheerleader coach was wrong, because regardless if you are in that particular profession, you shouldn't be abused to verbal name calling. I mean, yeah, you're right. I know the situation goes on in football, obviously. I'm quite sure they call them fat slobs or whatever they call them. But when it comes to a profession like cheerleading, I don't think women should be body shamed like that. And you're right, though. I think there's another way it can be done. As you indicated, there's probably policies in effect where you have to maintain your body a certain way. And if the bodies are not the way that the team wants you to be, then you shouldn't be cheering. And I think that's the appropriate approach to it. But I don't think calling people's, your telly, whatever they say, the fat belly and all of the, the name calling, I don't think that's right. It's abusive is what it is. Because if you're on a job, you don't want anybody your boss calling you names. So, I mean, so to me, that's the part I think where Houston went wrong. But you know what? The NFL, they have 99 problems right now because they can't seem to solve any of these problems. I mean, they got players committing sexual assault. They got NFL players not standing for the national anthem. You got declining viewership affecting the league's bottom line. And now you got the treatment of cheerleaders, which is going to be a big issue. Remember, if I remember, the first cheerleading group that came out was against the Washington's team. They was making the cheerleading squads available as escorts for top sponsorships. So, I mean, there's a major problem what's going on with these cheerleading squads. Now, the whole part about the money. Now, that to me is an issue, too, because if you're working extra hours, you deserve to be paid. Now, I don't know within a cheerleader's contract. I don't know if they're hourly paid. I mean, supposedly they only make minimum wage. So if they make minimum wage, I can't believe them signing a contract like that. So to me, if they're working extra hours, if they're practicing, if they're doing events for the organization, they need to get paid. So if Houston is not doing that, Houston definitely have a problem because they'll win that portion of the lawsuit more so than probably the body image. But again, like I said, the name calling is the problem with this situation. And I mean, I think it's unacceptable. And the other thing with that duct tape, let me tell you something. How could you let somebody duct tape your stomach? That's what I don't understand. I mean, maybe you felt pressure to allow this situation to go like that, but you had to agree to have your stomach duct taped because somebody just cannot duct tape my stomach unless they have me forcefully down on the ground or something duct taping me. I mean, that's the only way you can be duct taped if you disagree with it. So the young lady who was duct taped, she agreed to being duct taped, and that's why she went on the field. Because to me, if you didn't want to be duct taped, you just tell a lady you didn't want to be duct taped, and you just don't perform that particular day. So, I mean, that part of it is very questionable and suspectable. But I still think they have the issue, and they should not be name-called. It's very abusive.
All right, Spitface, you got anything to say on duct tape consent?
And I have been in some situations where duct tape came up, and I just simply didn't agree. And there is one. Given I look at cheerleading like the modeling industry, and it's rough. I've seen those documentaries on the modeling industry, and I put it like this. I would rather be the fat dude in the locker room than these ladies what they got to deal with in the and guys what they got to deal with. Because, boy, they be saying some stuff and doing some stuff. I tell you, that they might have to call, I might be arrested. So, some things are the nature of what you're working with. And you working with a sport that says take two big guys and run them into each other. It's kind of like, so the culture ain't exactly, like kind of sensitive. It is not a sensitive culture, amongst the NFL team. But given that, they used to say, ladies, don't let your sons grow up to be cowboys. And we ain't just talking about Dallas Cowboys. Daddies, don't let your daughters grow up to be cheerleaders for NFL teams. And because the other part is that how cheap. I mean, business is business, but how cheap these teams are. I mean, just cheap. That you gonna pay minimum wage and demand maximum work. How cheap is that? I would say how un-American is that, but that is just being overused today. How cheap that you can't pay somebody decently when you making billions. Come on. That's all I'm saying.
I just want to respond to that real quick. When it comes to the amount of money that the cheerleaders are paid, they're still rejecting thousands of women a year that are trying out for this position and are not making it. If they paid more, they'd be rejecting hundreds of thousands. The pay is commensurate with the amount of people that want to do the job, and there's a lot of women that want to do the job, even with all of the abuse.
I got the business. I did not disagree with the bit. How cheap. Come on.
Yeah, I like.
I mean, I get the business. I ain't talking about the business. I'm saying how cheap. Come on. Cheap. You can rationalize it with business, and the bottom line is cheap.
it may be cheap, but here at Bras, Panties, and Sports, we are not cheap, and so we can pay our bills. First Lady, take us to break.
The first 2 listeners.
There's difference between cheap and broke.
Right.
Which we are neither. And I forget, by the way, body shaming, remember Albert Hainsworth?
Yeah.
Remember Albert Hainsworth on the ground flopping like a beach whale?
All right, let's get our sponsoring so we can get paid. The first 2 listeners to email us or send a shout out with the reasons these ladies are grouped together will receive a $25 gift card from our partners at AnadiaSweet.com and NBAStore.com. The hint, Trailblazers. Stay tuned. Coming up next, we have a performance from Freeky, and I can't wait on the first part of Shout Out.
Everybody get a cookie.
The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Freeky.
On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. Today we are featuring music from Freeky. All right, DJ, let's hear Under My Sombrero, Under My Sombrero.
Buenos días, mi compadres. ¿Qué onda, mi comrades? Living la vida loca. Mi nombre es El Toro, a.k.a. Freeky, a.k.a. Tattoo General. Living la vida loca. Anda my sombrero. Cuarto mamacita, spending dineros. Living la vida loca. Anda my sombrero. Cuarto mamacita, spending dineros. Living la vida loca. Orale, ranchera music, orale, northern music, orale, mariachi music, orale, meets reggae music, orale, ranchera music, orale, northern music, orale, mariachi music, orale, living la vida loca, anda my sombrero, cuarto mamacita, spending dineros, living la vida loca, anda my sombrero, cuarto mamacita, spending dineros, living la vida loca, tequila ran cubanos, champaña ron mojitos, africano ramangs de gringos, living la vida loca, andele my muchachos, I wanna boy like I'm from Lagos, Annabella don't you let go, we are living la vida loca, africano in Mexico, Shaka Zulu you're my hero, microphone is to love your flow, run the game you my El Chapo. The bubble and wine while Freeky rhyme. Pull up, selector, play it one more time. Sun up to sun out, in a low I shine. Living la vida loca, under my sombrero. Cuarto mamacita, spending dineros. Living la vida loca, under my sombrero. Cuarto mamacita, spending dineros. Living la vida loca, Africano Casanova, spliffing on some mota mid-October. Estoy crudo, no bronca, all night we cha-cha, salsa, living la vida loca, anda my sombrero, cuarto mamacita, spending dineros, living la vida loca, anda my sombrero, cuarto mamacita, spending dineros, living la vida loca.
Under My Sombrero. All right, well, I'm going to give this song a shout out. I'm not really into Mexican music. I mean, when I think of Mexican music, I always think of the mariachi bands and that type of song. But you know what? I thought Freeky was kind of cool. I kind of enjoyed the music. I thought it was very the beat. I love the beat. I love the words, even though he was speaking a little Spanish there and there. Couldn't tell what he was saying, but could understand it a little bit. But it just had a nice beat. I thought the production of the song was good, so I'm shouting it out. Goddess Kelli, what did you think of the song?
Actually, there's something about, I call it Hispanic pop. I don't know if that's like the correct genre name, but that's what I call it. I call it Hispanic pop. But there's something about it, like Enrique Iglesias, Ricky Martin, that I just find like sexy in some way. It's catchy. And it's got like those sexy undertones, and Freeky really embodies that genre very well. So I'm going to give it a shout out. I like it. It's fun music, and I'm hoping that Trump's not listening because I don't want Freeky to get detained at the border or anything. But I enjoyed it, so I am shouting it out. Shout out for Freeky.
Shout it out, dude.
Goddess Kelli, we got to think about that. So maybe we got to give him a keep him up on the radar. We don't mean it, bro, but we trying to watch out for you.
Yes. Go ahead, Spitface. You shouting it out or getting the mute button?
Yeah, I'm shouting it out. Now, I did understand the Spanish part when he said mojito. Hey, that came through loud and clear. Yeah. I like how he mixed the Spanish and the English, and like I said, nice upbeat where you can have some fun, and I like a fun. We need more fun, so I'm with it. I'm shouting it out.
He shouted it out. Okay. Well, we'll hear more of Freeky on part 2 of Shout Out, but it is time for my favorite underwater friend. Do I hear his sound coming up? It's time for
And we know Flipper lives in a world full of wonder, lying there under the
sea. Everyone always wants to know where Flipper goes when he's on vacation. And I do know that he goes on the great tuna hunt. And I'm not gonna give out the location because he got his little private spot. That way, he don't get it all infiltrated with, all the other, dolphins. They're trying to hang out in his little special spot. It is time for Flip It, while hosts defend a point and then flip the script and defend the opposing view. The NBA draft is over and it's time for second guessing. DeAndre Ayton was the first player chosen, and Marvin Bagley III was the second. How are you going to be a second when you're a third? I don't know. Which team got the better deal, Phoenix or Sacramento? Defend. DeAndre was number 1 across the board. Sacramento would have taken him, but they had the second pick. Goddess Kelli, defend.
Well, absolutely. DeAndre Ayton, a 7-foot-tall center? Oh, my God. I think that the big man in the NBA is making a huge comeback. We see it first with the 76ers with Joel Embiid and the fact that he's back from his injury and he's playing better than ever. And we're going to see it with DeAndre Ayton. He's going to be another one of those guys that is going to be that giant athletic center. The big man, like I said, is back. And I mean, Phoenix didn't even work out anyone else with their number one pick. This guy was just heads above, and I mean that literally and figuratively, the competition when it came to being NBA ready and somebody that can make an immediate impact on the team. The only slight knock on him is that he doesn't really play quite as much defense, but I think that that's something that can be trained into him at 7 foot tall. At 7 feet tall, if he can't protect the rim, who else can? So I think this guy is going to be a splash. I'm calling him Joel Embiid the second, but hopefully he's not made of glass too.
All right. One of the things, sometimes teams get lucky. And Phoenix got the benefit of being lucky enough to get the number one pick. Because, the way the little ping pong balls fell, they were not, the odds weren't that they would be to have that number one pick. So they really got a break on that one. And so the luck just continued. They get the number one pick. They get the biggest guy out there, and as Kelli said, who can learn defense and defend the rim. And the NBA is about something gonna change. So you had years where where the big man is dominating, then they change the rules, and the little guys start stepping up. I'm trying to say you little when you're 6'3", but in NBA terms, the little guys, they start dominating. The three-pointers, where they're going to go back to the big men again. Because, that way they keep the excitement going in the game. And it's some good, the Rockets got their young big man. Some rule changes going to start favoring the big game again. And that's how the NBA keeps it exciting. So, the Phoenix didn't have to think. Thank God they did not have to think. It fell in their lap. Wow, we got the number one pick out the lottery, and we got the number one person overall, First Lady, to defend.
Well, as you guys kind of say, you can't turn down size, and a big man that can shoot three-pointers, I mean, come on. That's what we're talking about now in the NBA. The big man in the past has been lost in the current NBA. But if a big man can play like a guard and small forward, you have a difference maker on your team, and DeAndre Ayton displays these abilities. I mean, come on, how can you not pick him? How can you not pick this man? He has been compared to Joel Embiid, and we know that Joel Embiid is a transcendent player, and Ayton is more agile and quicker than Embiid. I mean, Phoenix had to take Ayton as number one. Even Charles Barkley said, if you don't take DeAndre Ayton, you're just an idiot. And I'm quite sure the Suns GM, Ryan McDonough, he didn't want to become an idiot, and thankfully he wasn't an idiot, and he did the right thing for the Suns because he had an excellent draft with Ayton and trading up for Mikal Bridges. I mean, the Suns, with the current roster, and now that they have Ayton, they're going to be on a come-up. So, hey, like you said, this was like a no-brainer. They had to take Ayton.
All right, we've heard the defense, but we got to flip the script. DeAndre, with all his talents, is not a guarantee. They can compare him, but he's not a guarantee. Given Sacramento had the second pick, the pressure was off of them, and they got the better deal. And if the thing for Sacramento is that they are such a messed up franchise that having to pick DeAndre as number one, something would have went wrong. There would have been something wrong. They would have made some dumb moves because we got the number one pick. And one of those dumb moves would have been, well, we need to trade down and get some picks. And, you know, and they would have good logic and reason. We need to trade down. That way we can get some better, we could get more picks and, you know, we'll trade out of the number one. They would have done something that dumb. Now, I mean, really, you know, Sacramento fans, I hate to tell you this. You got a management in Sacramento that, I put it like this. The only difference between your management and the board at the crisis with the children being, you know, the babies being ripped and put in concentration camps. The only difference your management have is that your management can actually claim stupidity. God is Kelly. So you got the better deal because y'all done had no pressure, and the number 2 pick was pretty much, you know, hey, consensus, and you didn't do something stupid like trade out of the spot. So you got the better deal. God is Kelly, defend.
I mean, when it comes to Marvin Bagley, we're talking about a player that excelled and played under Mike Krzyzewski at Duke. I mean, any player that can excel with Mike Krzyzewski is going to have an excellent career with the NBA. He's another big man, and he is going to be a terrific power forward going into the NBA. He's got a lot of upshot. He's got a lot of charisma, and he's got a winning attitude. And I think that his charisma is what I think is going to make a difference. DeAndre Ayton doesn't have quite that level of charisma, and I think that you need that, they call it that certain je ne sais quoi. You need that in the NBA to be a star. And I kind of see that from Marvin Bagley, the way that he plays, the way that he took his team into, you know, into the final, well, not the finals, but he took his team so far in the March Madness tournament. I mean, and he's young, he's still growing, and he has been so explosive. He's going to be another instant impact player. And I think knowing that DeAndre Ayton was the overall number 1 pick at 7 foot, the bigger they are, the farther they fall. And, you know, they're both big men, but DeAndre's a little bit bigger. So I think that there's a little bit more of an injury concern with him, and we're not going to have that same little bit of injury concern with Marvin Bagley. I think that he's a great overall player, extremely explosive, and he's going to be fun to watch. It's the fun to watch that makes a little bit of difference to me. So I think Sacramento got a hell of a deal.
And they didn't trade out of the spot. First lady to see.
Sometimes it's better to have the second pick in the draft because you don't have to worry about picking number 1 and choosing a bust. I mean, there's been many number 1 busts, especially for big men. I mean, let's talk about Greg Oden, Michael Olawokandi, and Kwame Brown. How could we forget Kwame Brown? That was Michael Jordan's nightmare. But, you know, Marvin Bagley III is not going to be a bust because is his name Marvin? Did I get the name wrong? Okay, well, anyway, he's not going to be a bust because many scouts feel that he is one of the draftees that is NBA ready. And when you are NBA ready, that means that you can play now and you can change the landscape of a team. I mean, he's a double-double machine when he was in college, so he's going to be a double-double machine in the NBA. He is very athletic. He's very energetic. That's what makes him such a great rebounder. And, you know, he gets more scoring on offensive rebounds and a lot of putbacks. And, you know, he can work on his outside shot, but he still can shoot pretty decently from the outside. So he is definitely going to change the landscape for the Suns. And you know what? When you look at these two players, Ayton and Bagley, I mean, you couldn't go wrong with choosing either player. But the one thing the Kings do have to worry about, well, actually, they didn't have the pressure of picking at number 1, but they do have to worry about the pick because he can become a Darko Milicic, and you don't want that. I mean, look what happened with the Detroit. They picked Darko Milicic on the second pick. But I'm sorry, I just don't think Marvin Bagley III will be a Darko Milicic. So Sacramento, they did great, and they're really another team that's on the come up with their current landscape of their team. So I'm very surprised that they didn't really screw things up because they have done things in the past to mess up things. But the Kings seem to be rebounding, and so they definitely rebounded with Marvin Bagley III. He's a keeper.
It's amazing. The Kings got a better deal because they just didn't mess up the deal they had. First Lady, please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, the funnies and our favorite underwater friend on Flip It Part 2.
I wonder if Donald Trump should call the Kings, get some coaches.
Welcome back. You are still listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It's time for the funnies. Goddess Kelli, take it away.
All right, we got a good one for you guys today. Rat gets into ATM, shreds nearly $20,000.
What?
Police in India said a rat was to blame for destroying about $20,000 worth of currency inside a state-run bank's ATM. Tinsukia police said officials with the State Bank of India branch contacted investigators this month to report 12,038,000 rupees, nearly $20,000, had been found shredded inside an ATM on the outskirts of the town. Police said the ATM had been broken down since May 20th for what was thought to be a technical problem, but technicians didn't attempt to fix it until June 11th, and the shredded cash was reported to investigators on June 14th. Investigators said the cause of the shredded cash was revealed when a rat carcass was found among the destroyed banknotes. Police said the rat may have entered the machine through a small opening meant for wires, and no foul play on the part of humans is suspected. Are people talking about dirty money?
The rat died of natural causes.
So that's that fat rat. He got fat off all that money and died. I mean, my goodness.
That's what it is. Dirty money and fat rats. I like it. But you know what? I think the water's splashing on me. I'm getting a little wet. So it must be time for my favorite underwater friend. Once again, it's time for Flip It.
Yes, it's time where we flip the script. The Knicks chose Kevin Knox. We wonder if they made the right move. Panel, defend. Good move. Kevin Knox is the Fort Knox. The guy is golden. Spitface, defend.
With a name like Knox, you can't go wrong. You know the man got he is in the right spot with the right team, because you know your boys need some help. And, one of the things is that, the Knicks, we know that their team is about the P-man, Porzingis. And everything has to get built to support him coming back. So Kevin Knox is the right kind of player that's going to fit in with Porzingis. And if the New York Knicks fans could just be a little bit patient, in about 2 years, they're going to have the foundation right and make some noise. So, good move. Get those pieces to help your boy Porzingis out, not threaten him.
All right. Well, we've been patient for many years. I forgot how many years since 1999. That's what, 18 years, 19 years? And that's been a lot of bit patience for the Knicks fans.
That 20th.
Yeah, I know about being patient. All right, Goddess Kelli, defend. Good move for the Knicks.
I like this kid, Kevin Knox, and he's already started a bond with Porzingis because they both got booed on draft night. And, I saw a report where Porzingis, took him aside and was all like, you know what, you take that booing and you let it feed your fire. You use that to motivate you to be a better player. What I like about Kevin Knox is he's already got that competitive spirit. I mean, they say that when he went into his workouts, he didn't want to do solo workouts. He wanted to work out for the team with other guys so they could see his competitive spirit and see that he's got, we call it the Mamba mentality because, Kobe Bryant is the one that made it famous. And Kevin Knox, he's young. He's 19 years old. That's it. He is a baby, but he's already showing that level of the NBA assassin type of mindset. And that's something that the Knicks need. They need that kind of attitude on the team. It's something that's been lacking. The morale there has been so low for so long. They need a young kid like this to bring the morale up. I like the move a lot.
Okay, you bring the morale up. That's what you're talking about. Well, actually, he's 18 years old, guys. Kelly won't be 19 until August. So, I mean, the Knicks over the years, let's face it, they have not been successful with their first-round draft picks. And in the past, like Goddess Kelly said, Porzingis was booed in 2015. Frank Ntilikina, last year's pick, the fans didn't like him either. They wanted Smith. And the fans didn't like Kevin Knox this year. But I'm going to tell you something. I like the pick. I really thought the Knicks were going to take Michael Bridges. But Kevin Knox is only 18 years old, and he still can grow into his body. And he already has an NBA-ready body, too. And he's kind of solid out there. And he has a better upside than Bridges. The Knicks need players that can shoot the ball and get their own shot. And Kevin Knox can do that. And many scouts have compared him to Jason Tatum. And we know what he did last year with the Celtics. And he was third best rookie last year. So as far as I'm concerned, I really think the Knicks got a good one. And I think that they're moving in the right direction because they're trying to build from within and try to, to groom and develop young athletes. And they need Kevin Knox, and he is definitely golden. But this is where we flip it, and this is how the panel defends. The Knicks made a good pick, but bad move. They should have traded up. Goddess Kelly, defend.
Yeah, the thing is, like you said, I thought he was 19, but you say he's only 18, so he's almost 19. The problem with this pick is, yeah, he's a great explosive player now, but you never know what's going to happen once somebody grows into their body. Men don't stop growing until into their early 20s. That's a scientific fact. So, I mean, he could become, awkward as he grows into what his body is going to become. And the thing with being young is there's still time for you to make all these stupid little mistakes, which he didn't get a chance to get out of his system in college. So we're going to see this kid all of a sudden given all this money, being able to go out on the town with all his freedom that he's never had because he's been a basketball player and he's been a minor for his entire life. So, I mean, it was a good pick, but they should have moved up, gotten somebody with a little bit of college experience maybe, and somebody that's going to be a guaranteed good player for years to come instead of somebody that's just a good player now. Because like I said, at that age, you don't know what that player is going to become. It's a big ball of potential, and what that potential is going to become, you just don't know.
Okay, you're right. He can still grow in that body, and he can be ugly looking with that body. But anyway, Spitface defend. Move.
Yeah. The Knicks should have done the work to trade up just one slot, and they would have had Colin Sexton. One slot, they got Colin Sexton, who can score. Proved that at Alabama, playing under who? Avery Johnson. And, and played, Team USA, go Team USA, except for when Team USA is ripping babies from, parents, and then trying to blame the parents from running from Tab, but that's a different subject. And we're going to take that over on Bloody Speaking tonight because we are upset, but we on Bras, Panties, and Sports. And, the Knicks needed somebody that could come in there and grow into the kind of point guard they need working with Porzingis. They'd have some options. So one move up, and they could have got Colin Sexton. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, all they needed was one move up. One move up. But anyway, the Knicks, to me, made a safe pick, but should have moved up and taken the athlete that everybody wanted. That was Luka Doncic. I mean, he's a small forward, and they needed a small forward, but he really would look great next to Porzingis because Luka is a point forward, and the Knicks guards are not good at making plays for other teammates, but Luka can do it all. He can shoot. He can be a playmaker. He's just an all-around player. They also could have selected Mo Bamba, who has a lot of upside as a big man. They needed a rim protector because right now they may not have a decent center because Kyle O'Quinn, he opted out. We're still waiting to see what Cantor's going to do. And Joakim Noah, who knows what's going on with Joakim Noah. So the Knicks right now don't have a center. And they needed a big man. So Mbamba could have been the answer to that. He's a rim protector, and he's a today modern center because he can shoot three-pointers. I mean, this is the new NBA, and the Knicks' current big men, except for Porzingis, they can't even shoot threes, the ones that they have. So, I mean, Bamba would have definitely been an upgrade. The Knicks did good with Knox, but they could have made a bigger splash if they weren't too scared and traded up. But we'll see. I'm still a Knicks fan. Well, Goddess Kelli, what kind of jambalaya do you have for us? Is it spicy or is it mild?
Well, you know that Goddess Kelli's jambalaya always brings the fire, so it is a spicy one for you guys today. So let's have a taste. A black guy and a Mexican guy opened a restaurant. It's called Nacho Mama. So how does this quote relate to President Trump trying to blame others for ripping children from parents and putting babies in detention centers? This is such a complicated issue, and there is so much propaganda on every single side of it. And I feel bad for these babies now because their parents being in, separate detention centers, and who knows if they've been deported across the border or not. And it's kind of like they're going to be taking these babies and showing them to different mothers and being all like, Nacho Mama, Nacho Mama, Nacho Mama, Nacho Mama, until they find out, who's going to claim these poor children that have been all alone in these detention centers with who knows what kind of rights abuse, human rights, not civil rights or American rights, but human rights abuse that's been happening. And all anybody can do right now is point the fingers. We've got the Trump supporters saying, oh, well, that this policy was started under President Clinton and President Obama, and we've got people that are on the liberal side of things saying, well, you know what, they weren't actually enacting these kind of policies. It wasn't actually happening. It's Trump that's doing it now. It's Trump that started zero policies or zero tolerance, blah, 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 blah. And it's like it's all this finger pointing with nothing happening to actually fix the problem. And then, of course, Trump comes out with his executive order saying, oh, we're not going to do this anymore. But you know what? Him saying we're not going to do it anymore doesn't help all of the children that are already detained. The executive order had nothing to do with them. It's just for future people that cross the border. It's not for people that are already detained. So it is a huge mess, and all it's doing is it's furthering the divide that's happened in this country, not just between races, but between political affiliations. And it's like people are just, we've become so torn apart by all of these different issues, and I can't take it anymore. I really can't. It's to the point where people are unfriending each other and blocking family members, people that they've been friends with for life, for a difference in political opinions, and nobody's taking the time to sit and listen to anyone else's side of the story And it makes me sad. It makes me extremely sad when we're talking about issues, not just this issue with the border, but other issues like the issues with the school shootings, the issues with the NFL players kneeling for the anthem. We're talking about issues where human lives are at stake, whether it be these children who may never see their parents again, or it's the kids in school that are being shot down by gunmen, or if it's the unarmed black man being shot by police. We're talking about things where lives are at stake, and all anybody wants to do is sit and argue the politics, not talk about solutions, not be willing to compromise to find an answer, and just further the divide. And I'm sick of it. First Lady, take a taste.
Well, I mean, President Trump's enforcement of this rule, as you said, zero tolerance, is basically to garner votes against the Democrats for the upcoming midterms election. Pretty much he's been saying that he thinks his rhetoric of blaming the Democrats will work to maintain Congress as a Republican rule. I mean, the bottom line is Donald Trump loves chaos. Chaos is his middle name. He loves it. You look in the dictionary and you see chaos, you see Trump's ugly picture there. I mean, because he is so divisive. That's what he does. He creates all of this drama. He loves this. I mean, we need to call this man out and continue to call him out. And the only way we can call him out is go to the polls and go during election time and vote. That is all we can do, because it is sinful that he is enforcing this rule to strip children and babies from their parents. I mean, it's to the point now, like you said, a lot of the kids, they don't even know where the parents are. And they're sitting there asking kids for parents' phone numbers. I mean, this is ridiculous. What type of system did they have in place when they did this? They should have matched the children up with the parents. They should have had all the information. I don't understand how you can lose people's children. I mean, this is ridiculous, and we need to call this man out for what he's doing. And the only way we can do it, again, you got to vote. And that's all I'm going to say.
Good face. Take a bite of the jambalaya.
I was looking at the situation, and one thing, I feel you. I feel you got us, Kelly, because it can all start sounding like noise. You know, it can just all start sounding like noise. But, I remember some children who were walking down the street, and dogs were unleashed upon them, and water hoses from the fire department. And what I remember is men and women reminding us that freedom ain't free. It just ain't. You're not going to talk your way into people changing their views. So you just have to do the work. And, do not fall for false equivalencies. Do not fall for, and many of y'all go, what's a false equivalency? Well, see, they do it. We both do. No. We don't do that. Because all that does is denigrate, and it's a battle. It ain't easy. This bras, panties, and sports. But we do not live in a vacuum. And, the point is that, we have the freedom to be divisive. We do. We have the absolute freedom to be divisive. But that don't mean we got to always bite. We don't have to always take the bait. But beware false equivalencies. And what about is? Well, what about? What about that there's a network that made sure that they didn't show babies. They showed brown-skinned teenagers in uniforms that already made them look like they were in the prison population. That ain't no accident. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. The jambalaya was, whew.
Yeah, that was
some of that tutu sauce in it this week.
But I mean, I just want to urge everyone out there, I mean, just because we got into this topic, I just want to say we've come into a part of society where everyone is given a platform through their social media nowadays. But yet social media has also made it so easy to block out the opinions of everyone that doesn't agree with you, so that therefore your opinions aren't challenged and you can't learn and grow from the experiences of others. So I just want to challenge everyone out there. Don't block people because they disagree with you. Listen to all sides of the arguments. Open your ears up, because that's the only way we're going to get past that, in my opinion. But anyway, the jambalaya was deliciously spicy. I need to go have a big glass of milk. So First Lady, take us to break.
Yeah, that was very hot and spicy. On the other side of the break, we have another performance from Freeky on Shout Out. Please stay tuned.
It is
Register to vote. You are listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It's time for Shout Out Part 2, the picks, and the finale. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout out from our crew. Goddess Kelli, over to you.
All right, after the first song, I'm excited, and we have another performance from Freeky. So, DJ, let's hear Take My Breath Away.
Hello, testimony, love. Trials and tribulations, love. Hey. Mary, go around. Both feet on the ground. Torino respiratory sound. I want to breathe again. Provoke, believe me, choking. Slap off what I'm holding. Can't say that I'm coping. I want to breathe again. Take my breath away. You take my breath away. You take my breath away. You take my breath away. I want to breathe again. Victory or defeat, slowing down my speed. Please bring close the rainbow so I can breathe again. Cue me on the beat, set it on repeat. Metronome, my angel, so I can breathe again. Keep rolling, for I am playing lead. Please say you'll be faithful, so I can breathe again. Slice me up a pie, blowing rings up in the sky. If they ask me why, so I can breathe again. Take my breath away. You take my breath away. You take my breath away. You take my breath away. I want to breathe again. Best believe this fantasy's alive. It is not make-believe. A heart is moisturized, don't need no Maybelline. Cupid gunned me down like they did Kennedy. Othello does the monologue.
was Take My Breath Away. Is the track going to get a shout-out or the mute button? Now for me, I'm a little disappointed with this one. I mean, that first song I put up there in the same genre as Enrique Iglesias. And if he knew how bad Kelly felt about Enrique Iglesias, he would know what a compliment that was. It was fun, it was sexy, it was a great song. And now we've got this one, which is just depressing, it's generic, it's like an adult contemporary nothing song. It's a bad B-side compared to the first song for me. So, Freeky, you gotta stay in your lane with that fun Latin flair, that kind of sexy Hispanic groove thing you had going with the first song, and stay away from this kind of mellow, depressing, generic, auto-tuned to death crap. So I'm giving it a mute. It's a soft mute because I loved the first song, and this one was produced well. I just didn't care for it. So I'm muting it, but it's a soft mute, not a hard mute. First Lady, to Take My Breath Away, take your breath away.
A soft mute. I actually liked the song. I thought it showed another side of him. I thought it showed the softer side of Freeky. I mean, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting more of some of the fun, upbeat songs. I mean, as far as generic, it could have had that flavor, but I really thought, I liked the song. I thought it showed his voice. He does have a very nice voice, and I'm going to shout the song out.
Right, Spitface, what do you think about Take My Breath Away?
I'm going to give him a shout out. I thought, one thing, he's well produced. And well produced, and it was some nice little harmony. So I enjoyed the first selection better. I enjoyed that better, and I like this track. I like the first track better, but I like this track. It's smooth, and you got a little hidden harmony in there. I think that we're gonna hear more from Freeky.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we're going to hear more from Freeky. I mean, like I said, for me to compare him to Enrique Iglesias, that's a high compliment for me. Because Enrique Iglesias does stuff to Goddess Kelly, like, whoo, I need a cold shower.
Never hit Freeky, but she told you what she liked. She told you that. I'm with it.
That is the end of Shout Out. So if you like what you heard from Freeky, and just so you guys know, it's Freeky with 2 E's, Freeky. You can check him out at dreadedsounds.com, DREADED sounds.com. And if you would like to be heard or have any comments, you can send your emails and tracks to panties@oldgrumpyradio.com. So now, my favorite part of the show, over to First Lady for the picks.
The hardwood picks ended. Who won the crown? All right, let's just go over the final results. Pitface, you had negative 720,000 points. Goddess Kelly, you were doing real well, but that last week really did you in. You have a negative 600,000 points. Dizzy Mac, he had 12,700,000 points, and I had 7,265,000 points. However, Dizzy Mac may have had more points, but he has not played enough games to be considered the winning. So that was the controversy. I have regained my crown again. I am the champ. I am the champ. All right. What are we going to get ready? We're going to do baseball picks next, or are we just going to do baseball? I don't know. We'll see. All right. We'll have some more picks to see who will gain those crowns.
It's a hardball pick. We went from the hardwood to the hardball.
Hardball, baseball. Okay. Time for our panel to give their outrageous predictions. Goddess Kelly, what's your outrageous prediction?
My outrageous prediction is that Melania Trump is going to divorce Donald.
Is that really outrageous?
Yes, because she's a gold digger.
She's just biding her time. She's just licking her chops. Yeah, boy. I'm going to make an exit from your butt.
I know. know. I wonder if he made her wear that jacket with that statement on there. Anyway.
Oh, and then he comes out with it's to the media. That's what it is. The statement to the media. Sick of all of it.
All right. Spitface, what's your outrageous prediction?
I actually have an outrageous Knicks prediction. And my outrageous Knicks prediction is that Kawhi Leonard will be a New York Knicks.
I hope so. But see, that's funny. That's your outrageous prediction. See, my outrageous prediction was that Kawhi Leonard was not going to the Lakers, but he was going to the Clippers. That was my outrageous prediction.
I don't think that's very outrageous.
He wants to go to the Lakers. He wants to be in
LA.
Well, they changed that there because now he said he wants to be a Laker. He wants to be a Laker. That's what Stephen A. Smith says recently. But anyway, as a mother, I'm appalled by Trump's administration enforcing a policy to separate children from their parents. Many first ladies who are mothers have spoken out against this policy. Laura Bush, Michelle Obama, Rosalind Carter. I urge all women to take a stance against this treatment against our most precious commodity, our children. By voting in the midterm elections, voting makes a difference. Goddess Kelli, tell our listeners where to find you.
Well, you can find me on the Red Zone with Kelly and Rashawn every Friday night from 7 to 9. You can listen live at blogtalkradio.com/momentumshift. You can find me on demand on my sponsor website, goingfor2.com/momentumshift. You can find the show on social media at The Red Zone Live, and you can find me on social media at KELLIERUTTAR.
Okay. Please visit us at braspantiesandsports.com where you can find links for each of us, original episodes, and the Bearskin Lounge with Dizzy Mac. And you can check me out on Twitter at Cheryl Smith at First Lady Sports. We will not forget our fellow American citizens living in Puerto Rico. We join in the demand that the Congress immediately convene a real investigation into why over 4,000 died from the hurricane, and the government officially lists 64 in its disgrace. The old grumpy radio network and Bras, Panties, and Sports are not saying all Republicans are racist and xenophobes, but it seems like all the racists and xenophobes are Republicans. It is time for Republicans of conscience to stand before it's too late. This has been Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk. Goddess Kelli and Spitface, you have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. I got tied tongue because of